All right, hell yeah. So we are going to get this shaped. And the cool thing is, I kind of found some techniques, you know what I mean? And to shave foam, and we're going to use, hell yeah, this is the only one in the house, but we're going to use it. And booyah. And the other thing that we're going to use is potentially like a wire brush. On the soft styrofoam, like just the white styrofoam, the sculptors will actually just shave it with a wire brush, and that makes a whole lot of sense. This, you know what I mean? Essentially, that's what you're doing to actually remove material. You're roughing up the surface, and then hell yeah. So that's pretty sweet you know what I mean? And then, yeah, yep. We'll see if I have to cut this or modify this. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. I was just going to go buy another one at Walmart, but they're $7. And I couldn't find one at the thrift. I went to 2 thrift stores. You can't even find these at a thrift store. It's crazy. All right, let's do it. All right, hell yeah. And I'm even feeling better this month. You know what I mean? Last month I was literally sleeping during the day and I was a vampire at night. And so, hell yeah, in the last almost 2 weeks, we've been on a normal sleep schedule. And that's totally brand new for me. So, hell yeah. Booyah. Anyway, so hell yeah, I've been working at the cabin again and just kind of feeling more, hell yeah, we're doing it. More normal self. So, all right, let's chisel this out. We got some wire brushes, and I'll just show you how it goes. Booyah. All right, so I just drew this line in here. And so what we're trying to get back is our rocker side to side, but more importantly, fore aft. And so this is the center point of the boat. I'm going to chisel this all the way smooth to there. So that's just going to be a nice 90. I'm not going to worry about any V-rocker. I'm just going to chisel that first and then turn it over and then see if shifting to the front is enough to drop it on that. But hell yeah, do you see? Like this is, I think, what we want in an R1 boat is you want this to be highly rockered up front. Tip it onto the side if you want to track, but then that. So that's what I'm shooting for. And this is a brand new dynamic. So even if I just figure out this, hell yeah. But shifting past the center just with the knee up against the thwart, I'm going to be on this new planed surface. And then so that should release the back of the boat. And so this is basically a pivot point. And even right here, you know, I could even add more to it. And we'll see what we do. But we definitely now have way too much material over here. But this is cool because it allows me to kind of think maybe more outside the box. Let me just grab a quick piece. Here's 2-inch foam. So what I'm thinking is that, let's say I have a piece of foam that comes from here all the way out to like here. Then I'm going to have, so kayaks, they have a double edge, which is basically just this. It's basically a stair step. Well, I guess they call it a double rail. And so, yeah, so this is a double rail. Let's just leave it at that. So I'm making a double rail where I have 2 step downs. So that's my plan, at least on one side. And we do have an asymmetric boat. One of these sides is a little bit wider. The other side is narrower. I can't tell. This side almost looks wider. Let's see. If this is the front of the boat, that's the right side, upside down, so that's the left side. And I messed up, so that's the shorter side. And then this is the wider side. Yeah. So on this wider side, I'm going to try to do this double stair step. But you can see this is way too much stair step currently. And so I'll probably have to do something on both. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. And then, but maybe I don't need to foam all the way around, you know what I mean? Because definitely these front corners, this is what I'm trying to get out of the water. And so now looking this way, that front corner is way the hell out of the water. And so if I do foam, you know, I might just go piecewise back here and figure out what I want in the back. And that's what I'm thinking. The front of the boat, because it's just a short planed surface, is just for like, riding over waves and not getting plugged. And so that's what this surface is. And so definitely a viewer today. So this is today. If you want to know kind of what progression I am, introduced me to one of the Hala subs, 34-inch wide. And that is kind of interesting. We should measure this because, it's $1,200 to $1,300. But yeah, this is only 32, and this is 30 inches wide. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, mine is 30 inches wide. So even if I was to use one of those, it would still be on the wider side. You know what I mean? And I think even this at 30 inches could get reduced down, because you need this middle section, and then you do need, in an R1 boat, I think this is fundamental to an R1 boat, is that you have to have these other two. And this probably is not going to be wide enough, because I did reduce the entire width. And so that's what we'll have to experiment with. All right, I think we should just get to it. All right, hell yeah, work smarter, not harder. And you can even chisel this stuff with chainsaws. I'm not going to do that because I'm sure it would just kind of tear up. But hell yeah, I'm going to take this saw and I'm just going to go just a little bit off of there, just so that doesn't, that'll probably break away, but that's fine. I just want to get this taper, you know what I mean? And so there you go. I can insert the saw right here, line it up right there, and then just smoothly kind of shave strokes, and we should be able to slice that all the way across. All right, so hell yeah. So we were able to then come in vertical, and we're able to, get that piece out. So hell yeah, I'll be able to go all the way across pretty smooth. Sorry about that. All right, I should track progress because I don't know why I'm taking, I was trying to take the exact amount off, and I feel like, I don't know, it feels like, is that taking too much off? We'll see. Now, this will probably be pretty good, but yeah, let's take a little bit less off just so we have some structure. Else we're basically just taking, this would just be really weak. So, hell yeah. And the other thing that we can glue, I think this stuff glued pretty solid with the wood glue, but if you have foam on foam, you just use this stuff. And so we do have a bottle of that. All right, hell yeah, I just went for that. And so that's really tall, and I could experiment with that, but like I said, I want to make this double edge, and so you have a step down. And that way that if you put this on edge, it's not just going to instantly tip to here, maybe it can kind of intercept this second, like this first stair step, and this can be the second stair step. And that's not going to be enough buoyancy. It's going to be less buoyant, so that will, probably fully saturate, where you still have your two contact points nice and wide out there. All right, hell yeah. So it's subtle, but I think you should be able to see this. So this is probably going to be a maximum planing surface, and then if I move, yeah, so it feels like I have to move up quite a bit, but let's see. Actually, this is where I would have my feet, which means going to the front board is right there. And so that's perfect. And so we have, whoa. See, and that's where I want to reduce that. And that's why this is a skeleton, and I can add to that. So right now we have a monster stair step, but hell yeah, I would imagine that we want to come right here and engage that first stair step. So even when I do this, maybe I'll throw a chunk of foam and just be like, hell yeah, that's where I want that first edge to engage. And I'm fine with the second edge I guess I just have to be accepting that this is where that second edge is. And so even this is too extreme currently. And so that's kind of interesting. All right, hell yeah. And it's so interesting how this is probably too subtle. But at least we got that back in. And, you know, over the course of more pressure, that might go away. But I think I'm at least happy the fact that if I shift to here, I do have that in there. And double check the other side. Yeah, and so this side might actually be just a little bit more rockered, especially this. Let's check what damage we did. All right, hell yeah, we really didn't do any damage. That just cracked right there. And I'm going to take my knife, take the saw, and saw that side. Hell yeah. All right, hell yeah, I'm having a no-duh moment. You know what I mean? Because obviously, this is too wide anyway. For the size of the boat, I wanted a miniature boat. And it's still 7 feet, 8 inches long, which is crazy. And then however wide, and it's less wide than 5 feet. And so, hell yeah, but we might be pretty close to the 5 foot mark. But yeah, we can do the double edge right here. So we can already transition this edge just a little bit in. And so that can give us this edge, and then we can have, double stair step right here. And then we really don't need too much. Yeah, so that is kind of fascinating. I'm going to think about that, but basically go do it right now. What would be the benefits of not doing it? We have a wider surface. That surface actually looks pretty decent. But we're eliminating the V-rocker right now. So if we actually do reduce this, then we're relying on these stair steps to get that V shape. And one aspect of this is I do need this to be kind of a planing hole this way, so it has more rocker. And so I'll have to think about it, but basically at least chiseling this at an angle, if not stair-stepping it. Man, I have to decide what I wanted. I can do that later because I can build this up first. So I might pause. Hell yeah. All right, hell yeah. I totally forgot that. I forgot why I actually put this piece of foam in place. One, it was to get this forward rocker back. But because I have a hinge right here, I also wanted to taper this back anyway. And so, you know what I mean? The balanced surface back here would be an angle from there to there. And so I do think I'm going to chisel. And then this was actually just supposed to be extra. I want, because I was cutting out this much foam, I was like, well, maybe I'll just do this and see. But because of this, I would have to foam everywhere else out. And I'm already kind of set on my height anyway. And so the whole objective of this was just to put this line back in, and now I'm going to taper it back to here. Now, I don't have to taper it all, and so I can leave just a little bit, and so we'll see what we do. But as I start to progress, I might, just totally lop that piece off and then just taper that in, and that gives me my planing surface. The reason I would keep this in is just because if I don't do a good enough taper, I have to keep some thickness through here, then it would make sense to carry that thickness out to here and then start still modifying this back area with foam potentially. All right, hell yeah. All right, that's what I love about projects is you always learn as you go and you become kind of an expert at little things as you go. And so my MO is like never do a project start to finish. Like I always do a little bit and see if that's the way you want to do it. A lot of different ways to tackle a project start to finish, but definitely if you do a project systematically where you just follow the same procedure the entire way, you get locked in, and maybe that's not the best way to do it. So sometimes it's always good to take one little piece start to finish, maybe like let's say this corner, and you're just like hell yeah, and now we can continue this process by adding foam here and really carving it out. So I do think I will do that just because this stair step, oops, sorry about that. This stair step is pretty aggressive, and then hell yeah. And then this was the first attempt. So that kind of shows you that like, hey, if I just stuck to a saw, oh, this would have just been horrendous. And then the other thing is like, especially with working with stuff, always think outside the box. You know what I mean? Like your hardware store doesn't have the tool that you probably need a lot of the times. And I'm super fascinated that the tool of choice is just that part of and that handle works so good, a cheese grater. And so hell yeah, we'll be shaping more boats just like this. And now, while I was shaping that, I was just like, hell yeah, we probably should fiberglass the bottom of this. I still just want to do the poor man's fiberglass, just because I swear once we get enough latex, that should be shiny enough, you know what I mean, for a surface that should be fairly smooth. And so, all right, hell yeah. And then with this, I'll probably glue this down and then kind of foam over this with this spray foam, and then just kind of reshape this. But definitely in that process, also glue, foam over here. And so maybe we're done shaping for right now. I think that looks really good. And, I didn't put the V-rocker back in just because we have to figure out ways to kind of transition into this, this part of the boat. And so I just want to leave that up in the air for, maybe future modifications. And that's the other thing about poor man's fiberglassing. If I do, wood glue and fabric over this, then paint it, and I really need to change the structure, like put a V-rocker back in, I could rip all that off and then redo it, and I'd be only out like $20 in glue and a used painter's cloth. All right, hell yeah. Let's see what else we do. All right, hell yeah. We got everything vacuumed up, but I forgot to, let's see. I am going to shave that down because that's a little bit high. All that's a little bit low, but hell yeah. And then I can add more foam to it. So we'll see what we do here. All right, I do have my main line marked, and that's where we chiseled this. But then I made ruler marks, like 1, 2, 3, just in case I want to chisel that more this way, because then that can make this front taper just a little bit faster. And it would make sense to kind of round out this. And so, hell yeah, let's just make the exact decision on that. And I'm going to start from there and then just kind of round it out. Booyah. All right, hell yeah. So we got that chiseled out, and it's looking pretty good. We might even have just a little bit of V-rocker in there. You know what I mean? Not too much, but hell yeah. Basically, we just wanted to keep this planing surface, and now we're ready to glue this down with some of the spray foam, and then attach some foam on either side. Hell yeah. All right, hell yeah. So this is the first time I've ever used that stuff, and booyah, I think I did pretty good. I found that you can't just spray it and then, spread it. And so, hell yeah. And I kind of found that, it kind of goes down as like a liquid and then expands. No duh. But, you know what I mean? If you treat it like welding, then because it's expanding, well, I don't know if that's like welding at all, but lay it and then it's going to expand into that gap. I guess it could be considered like welding, just because welding, your point is where your heat is, and then your weld puddle might be wider. And so, I don't know, but hell yeah. That worked out pretty good. And I just kind of filled in that. And this stuff sets up, just as hard as the foam, or, just as good. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, the crazy thing is I don't know if that's a one-shot deal. I'll have to maybe pop online to see the applicator. How do you get that applicator not to just freeze up? All right, hell yeah, we're doing pretty good. Oh, that sucked. So I put that on, and I didn't, I was basically out of juice. But what happened is I put all that steel on, and then just all of a sudden it fell off. And it made the loudest noise, and I was in here. Oh, that sucked. I think my ears are fine, you know what I mean? There's not like painful, but oof, that was a very loud noise. I'm glad it didn't hit the bikes. Yeah, it was just, I didn't realize that the boat's round, and it's not, and so I put all that steel on there, and it just tipped. I didn't have enough juice anyway, and so let's see, what am I going to do? I'm debating on whether wood glue is the best way to... Nah, I think this stuff should stick to this. Yeah, this stuff's super sticky. This stuff is great stuff. What's it called? Hell yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to get some more of this. It's expensive. It's like $7, and it's really difficult to use. It just shoots out air, I swear to God. I don't know if you... I shook it a lot, but hopefully I can figure out how to... I guess it's empty. Yeah, so we got it. There's enough propellant in there. What do I want to do? Damn, that hurt my ears. Yeah, I want to put on some of this foam, and I even have 1.5-inch foam, so I don't even have to use the 2-inch if I don't want to. Let's see, I'm just going to show you where this was. That was just right there, and it wasn't even a good piece anyway, but this is all that I have left for the 2-inch, but that should be plenty to figure out what I want to do. So anyway, gonna get some more of that great stuff. Maybe at least like 4 more of those. And yeah, okay, so now I got it. And then I'm gonna cut these into smaller chunks, because what I did is I put this big chunk on, and I'm just like, well, I have to put weight on one end and weight on another, and I put all this steel on there, and then ran into that issue. And so what I'm going to do is actually just chop this stuff up into tiny pieces, and really use a lot of the tiny pieces, because it's foam, you know what I mean? That's what's going to happen with, that's why I'm saving all the foam too, because hell yeah, I can just kind of pop it into place, use that great stuff. And so hell yeah. So that's going to be the goal. I think I'm going to go from, almost that joint. Hell yeah, because I still want to I still want that to be the farthest. I want to release the corners. You know what I mean? So this is the back of the. So essentially, this is like the powerhouse of the boat, or whatever. Basically, this is where I'm going to sit in the back. This is what's planing on the surface. The front is just to stay out of the way and to stab when necessary. So now this thing's coming together. Hell yeah. So now I'm going to take all these little chunks of foam and then just kind of make even little strips. And then even if I have gaps, I can grate stuff in between. And because I'm still going to coat it with the poor man's fiberglass. And so this will give me, tonight I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all the way around. I'm probably going to do it as a separate video. Because I'm kind of done talking, and you get the idea. And so maybe for tomorrow's video, I'll go all the way around here. And I'm going to do it tonight, though. But hell yeah, tomorrow's video. Because then once it's glued down with this great stuff, then I'll be able to shave it, just like I have been doing. And that shaving process has been going good. And then so especially if I go foam all the way around with all the extra pieces that I have. I'm just saying the same thing again. But hell yeah, I won't need to clamp it. I won't need to put any weight on it. And then tomorrow, or the next day, I'll be able to shave it, and that'll give me some ideas of like, hey, what do I want this back to look like? All right, so hell yeah, I might even get 6 of those great stuffs and then return 3 of them. All right, hell yeah, you always got to experiment, but I bought this at Harbor Freight. It was like 17, 18 bucks. And so we're going to return it today because we just used the cheese grater and hell yeah, what is that, the spice setting? And that shaped the foam real good. Now this works with an egg, but it would go too fast. It would melt. It would burn. Like even this was no fumes. It got a little warm at times, but you're not melting the plastic. So hell yeah. All right. And it's just good to get into the habit. If you do buy something that's iffy, hell yeah, return it instantly. That's what we're going to do right now.